Hi ho, Rendy Jones here, and it's that time of the month. Well, I mean, I never done this before, but this is my first time doing it this month, where I'm talking about the movies of last month. I'm talking about October movies, everything I watched in of October of 2021. The month of October was a wild one for me. It's that time of the year where the roller coaster ride of award season gets started, and I have to be into the thick of it again. And I am so tired. I entered October playing the game of catch up with both Toronto Film Festival and New York Film Festival still kicking my ass simultaneously, and it was not fun. Between September and October, I watched around 25 to 30-ish new movies, all of which I have to write about, and some I have to make videos for, and it's pretty daunting on me. As a one non-binary army doing all this writing and a two-person editorial team, it's been exhausting to say the least. So if you're a publicist out there watching this video, I promise I will get to the movie you worked on. I'm only Rendy Reviews. There's a team of 2 to 3 people here, and it's tiring. But here we go! Here's a review roundup of everything I've seen this month. You can find full reviews of most of these movies on my website, rendyreviews.com, or on this YouTube channel right here. And believe me, I'll be making videos on most of this stuff as well. Keyword most, or some. Let's change that to some. Hell yeah. I started the month of October by rewatching Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Yeah, I said the word rewatching. I don't know why, but I adore this stupid and little comic book flip. Maybe because it's the first superhero movie to really go gay on main prior to Eternals, and its silly energy is both tonally consistent and fast-paced. After dealing with one too many prestige movies in September, which were all 2 hours plus minutes long, this was just the right amount of dumb and short to make me grin again. That first full week of October took me back to the grind of the New York Film Festival with Celine Sciamma's Petite Maman. Now, the first time I saw this was at TIFF in September. It was the first film I watched at the festival, and nothing during my 10 days there, yeah, I went full 10, baby, managed to reach the same heights to the extent that I watched it twice within the span of those 10 days. So my New York Film Festival viewing marked Petite Maman as my 3rd time viewing it because it's so damn pure and sweet to me, like instant serotonin. It's a short and minimalist slice of life that explores generational grief in an inventive and timely fashion, utilizing just a few locations to deliver a fantasy that's kind of like Meet the Robinsons, spending time with the younger version of your parent, while evoking the same writing style of Charles Schultz in advanced humor and Miyazaki with its magical realism. I cannot recommend it enough, and it still pains me that I haven't gotten around to writing a review on it. It's hard to write reviews about movies that you love. It's the constant pain of being a film journalist. Then, the following evening, I went to a special screening of Mike Mills' latest film, Come On, Come On. And yeah, it's another Mike Mills banger. It's a slice of life family drama that blends a natural verite style of storytelling mixed with the French New Wave, but with a wide scope. Joaquin Phoenix plays Johnny, a radio journalist who takes his nephew Jesse, played by Woody Norman, with him across the country as a means to keep him occupied while his mom, played by Gabby Hoffman, tries to take care of his mentally unstable father. The story is primarily set on the two trying to understand each other, for they have barely spent time together. Much like his previous flick, 20th Century Women, Mills keeps you attached to his down-to-earth characters as he displays their distinctive family dynamic with a new wave flair. It's very sweet to see Joaquin Phoenix as just a regular dude who is surface level lonely and grieving, paired with a wide-eyed kid as they trek across the country and become closer than the two ever expected. Sounds like another Joaquin Phoenix movie that came out 20 years ago. If this had a Phil Collins track, then this would have been a spiritual sequel to Brother Bear. The film is heavily bolstered by the dynamic between Phoenix and newcomer Woody Norman, who is so irresistible to watch as they gradually form a familial bond that's tender, sweet, and makes you beam in delight. Norman breaks down the door like a champ, keeping the likes of Phoenix on his toes with his youthful curiosity and mischief. He's got that American kid accent down pat, and it's one of the best breakout roles I've seen this year. I'm in the Critics' Choice Awards, and we have a category called Best Young Actor/Actress, and it's about to be a juggernaut battle between Norman, Jude Hill in Belfast, the Sands twins from Petite Maman, McKenna Grace in Ghostbusters Afterlife, Gregory Diaz IV in The Heights, the little girls from King Richard. I don't know, I'm just speculating. And I know the list is extensive, but man, kid actors are eating today. Then I woke up early as hell on a Friday morning to see Dune at the New York Film Festival press screening, where I got to hang out with one of our film Twitter mutuals, Karsten Requenist. It was my first time seeing it since Toronto Film Festival in September in IMAX, but also that was the last film I watched during the full 10 days, so I didn't remember jack shit. This time I saw it in regular digital at Walter Reed, so I could be more aware of the difference in presentation and sound design. Yeah, I love this movie. No beating around the bush. Upon second viewing, I was completely swept up by Villeneuve's meticulous world building. I picked up more details about the personalized character arc for Paul and immediately thought, is this an allegory about gender? I guess that's why they hired Timothée, because he has that androgynous qualities that make you completely attracted to his soft baby face. Mind you, I don't know anything about the source material for the film adaptations that came before it, besides David Lynch hating his version on Maine. So the fact that this sci-fi epic engrossed the way that it did is still a huge feat. The next morning I went to the P&I screening of the New York Film Festival closing night film, Pedro Almodovar's Parallel Mothers. I still don't know how I feel about this one. I'm positive towards it overall, don't get me wrong, but ratings wise, I don't know. This is a beguiling drama about two novice mothers from different generations who become intertwined in each other's lives. It's primarily told through the perspective of Penelope Cruz's character Giannis as she discovers a dark secret about her child, and as she and the other mother, Anna, reconnect, their relationship deepens. Almodovar is very visual when it comes to the dramatic narratives he crafts, and this is no exception. Penelope Cruz and Milena Smith are exceptional in their respective roles, and Cruz delivers one of the most gripping and meditative performances I've seen in this year. I'm still mixed on how it all concludes, for it becomes very vocal about the history of Spain regarding lost relatives, and I think I might need a second viewing in order to pick up all the pieces that probably slipped through my fingers to see how it all connects. Then that evening, I went to New York Comic Con for the first time as press, just to watch Ghostbusters Afterlife. Yeah, I saw the new Ghostbusters a month before it came out with a bunch of Ghostbusters stands, so of course, the experience was torture. Not the movie itself, but experiencing it with a crowd that will go apeshit over every minuscule thing that is reminiscent of the first original movie. But I will say, this era of serialized reboots of simple campy films from the late 20th century needs to fucking end. Jason Reitman channeled his inner J.J. Abrams, for he pretty much made Super 8 with a Ghostbusters coat of paint that doesn't know if it wants to be a reboot that stands on its own, or a Ghostbusters 3, or I guess Ghostbusters 4 if you want to count the 2009 video game as canon, which it does. You could count it as canon, I count it as canon, you could count it as canon, it's fucking canon. McKenna Grace is the major heft of the film as the lead who uncovers the secret of her family's legacy and must save the town. It has heart where it must, but man, it's one of those reboots that is so far up its own ass that makes you go crazy over every little reference to the original film. And watching this with a bunch of stands was such an out-of-body experience. Then I watched My Little Pony: A New Generation. Only reason I watched this was because a friend and I were conversing about this movie and making fun of how it tried to discuss racism, but then they saw it and went, oh, this is pretty good. And I said, okay, then I will decide for myself as to how this really is. And yeah, shit, dude, I love this. Yeah, this is how you do a reboot, y'all. Especially one that exists within the same realm as its predecessor. If we're going by 80s based property reboots for a new generation, this made me lower my Ghostbusters Afterlife rating from a 3.5 to a 3. After watching this, I kind of turned to Ghostbusters and said, wait a minute, how come this has more cojones and take major leaps than you? My Little Pony is a freaking toy-based property, and yet they dared to do something new and inventive more so than fucking Ghostbusters. I was like, nah, I was too kind to you because these ponies are out here doing something bold and different while you're jacking off to the past. I saw a lot of people try to say, oh, MLP has gone woke now, but I didn't expect a property as simple as this to apply a really well done conversation of racial prejudice and fear-mongering for a younger demographic. The animation is breathtaking in quality, the voice acting is amazing, some of the songs are genuine bops, and the characters are all likable and fun. I know there have been other animated movies that try to discuss racial prejudices, but this handles the conversation far more fluently and without any cops in sight. This might be one of my biggest genuine surprises of the year thus far, and the fact that it had the courage to be outspoken about real world issues with nuance and poignancy as a freaking reboot movie made it one of the best animated films I've seen this year. Man, I'm gonna lose a lot of street cred by saying that. Then I finished New York Film Festival with Sean Baker's Red Rocket in 35mm. Holy shit, what a freaking insane madcap of a ride that was. Baker has a knack for delivering character studies of bottom of the barrel garbage people in low income areas and transforming them into high art. Here you go to good old Texas and hang out with a washed up porn star named Mikey Saber, who weasels his way into his estranged wife's mom's house and tries to be a big star again. He meets a 17-year-old girl in a donut shop and he becomes immediately smitten with and tries to have her be his newest co-star as a means to get back into the game. From the moment the film begins to the moment it ends, you're hooked like a worm on a rod as you're transported into this shitty dude's zany world and crazy quest to become a star again. You witness this entertaining, shallow, yet fascinating soulless shell of a man navigating his new life he creates for himself. Simon Rex is fucking phenomenal, and I hope A24 positions him for awards because this is a transformative performance unlike anything I've seen since Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems, which is like, what, 2 years ago? But still, regardless. It's as if they said, Academy, if you fuckers won't get the Sandman, here's a real former porn star and a Scary Movie 3, 4, and 5 featured actor. He's so memorizing to watch and is the best leading acting performance I've seen this year. Seriously, for being a slice of life tale in little old Texas, this is a crazy ass rollercoaster ride of a movie, man. It lingers like a parasite and I can't wait to watch it again. Then I went back to the mainstream shit and saw Halloween Kills. Fuck this movie. I hate this muddled, unnecessary middle part of a clearly unplanned trilogy that's so dull, lifeless, and boring. I am intrigued what Halloween Ends is going to be because I'm ready for Myers and his movies to be buried in a coffin once and for all. It's a shame because I really liked the 2018 Halloween movie, but this sequel just pissed me off, dude. It didn't even just piss me off, it pissed off Mayan. When your editor bestie, who's a fucking freak for horror movies, is falling asleep in the theater watching a horror movie, that's how you know you fucked up. Me, I can say whatever, but when you hurt Mayan, when you make Mayan sleep, oh, that's how you know you trash. That following morning, I had a press screener of The Harder They Fall, which exudes major dad energy, and you know what? I had fun. It's a basic western shoot 'em up that hits all the tropes and archetypes of the genre, but it's bloody, has its own rhythm, and has a great black ensemble full of fantastic performances. It's just fun. There's not much I can really say about it. It's just, I mean, it's overlong for sure, but I was watching it while I was like doing laundry, putting laundry away, because I feel like that's kind of the vibe that it has, you know, that Netflix vibe, or whatever you're doing, you have something on in the background to watch simultaneously. Yeah, that was me with The Harder They Fall. It's fun, it's beautiful, it's well made, it's entertaining as hell, just there. From there, I watched another Netflix thing, Jorge Gutierrez's CG animated miniseries Maya the 3, which is an astounding masterpiece. I've been following Jorge for years, or I guess we've been following each other since we've been Twitter mutuals since 2014, but I've been pumped for this ever since he unveiled the first ever concept art, and this show is unlike anything I've seen before. Maya the 3 is a groundbreaking achievement for Jorge Gutierrez and his team of collaborators, with distinctive cultural significance in every facet. The CG animation is grand as the storytelling in this is beautiful and rich Mesoamerican fantasy. The hell with Dune. This is the visionary storytelling masterpiece that I would kill to see on a big screen. Not even a 50-inch HD TV screen can do this gorgeous miniseries justice. This series is a rare achievement that contributes to the argument that animation storytellers are also auteurs, and Gutierrez is one of the modern greats. Afterward, I watched Jorge's previous project, The Book of Life, because it's like a 1-2 punch, you know? You watch Maya the 3, you're just like, I want to watch more Jorge shit. It felt like a requirement to do a double feature because of the similar themes, story beats, and hell, even the voice cast. It only screams Gutierrez's name, and I highly recommend watching them back to back. It's like peeping into the man's wild mind, and you just want to make a home for yourself and see what he does next. Then I saw Ron's Gone Ron, which was screened to me at the last minute because I'm pretty sure Disney wanted to bury it. It's a shame because this was an unexpected charmer. The film is the debut by animation studio Locksmith Animation, and man, did they really kick down the door with a puff in their chest. This cute outlook on friendship from a child's point of view with a lonely kid named Barney and his mini Baymax/Eve offspring Ron is absolutely delightful. It's a small-scale slice-of-life story but features impressive animation and amazing art direction, especially when it gets to the Apple knockoff location, and the story took some turns that I didn't expect it to. It might feel a bit disjointed for some, especially given how quickly it shifts in the third act, but that middle act emotionally gripped me. It's a heartwarming charmer of an animated movie and deserves to be seen in the theater. Highly recommend it. Like, if you haven't seen it in the theater, then I'm sorry, you're missing out. This is worth price of admission on a theatrical basis. Or if not, you can watch it on digital, whenever that may be. Speaking of a heartwarming charmer, the next film I saw was Lamb. I saw it in a pretty vacant theater and was warned by both my sister and close friend that the movie sucked due to the marketing, made it look like a horror movie, you know, the thing A24 does. But they pull a 180 with the movie's marketing and show you what it really is when you watch it. And yeah, you might say the movie pulled the rule over their eyes.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Also, I didn't watch the trailer, so I was like, oh, cute lamb child. Okay, let's go. I know I keep saying slice of life because that's kind of what a lot of these movies are these days. And yeah, this is another one of those. And it's a slow-burning Icelandic slice of life with major Greek tragedy elements. It's about a couple raising a baby named Ada who happens to have a face of a lamb. Immediately, the couple becomes smitten with her, and you watch them learn to love this innocent little kid. I don't want to give too much away, but for the most part, you're just watching a super cute and intimate family drama that isn't anything great, but is still a solid watch. Next came A Screener of Fairfax, a new adult animated series for Amazon Prime. I thought this was going to be a cringe fest full of pop culture references and juvenile jokes like Big Mouth, but instead it's more of, bear with me when I say this, more of the Weekenders if they were Gen Z kids and also hype beasts. It's very fluent with both the age and culture that I found myself endeared by these kids on their quest for clout. The episodes have decent setups that parody the culture, resulting in a hilarious effect that I didn't expect. There's a genuine charm to this friend group that's very reminiscent of early 2000s cartoons like All Grown Up, Recess, and the aforementioned The Weekenders. Oh, and the art direction and color schemes are gorgeous. It shows the love to the titular city by incorporating the same color the sun exudes at various times of the day, making the passage of time look very artful. The coloring makes it so damn rich and gorgeous, and the hues of the characters change with the background lighting. It's such an amazing artistic choice. It starts off pretty strong, but fizzles out in the final episode. Like, it does a Wonka parody to close out the season when it was so strong doing its own thing on its own merit. But I'm invested enough to anticipate a second season. I hope it doubles down in confidence because I really enjoyed this show. Then I went from one adult animated comedy to another because I binged the first season of Inside Job, the new adult animated Netflix series from Gravity Falls writer Cheyenne Takuchi. It's an edgy and funny workplace comedy about the inner workings of the shadow government and the short-tempered / overworked boss of a team of kooky characters named Reagan. I had no expectations for this whatsoever, but Netflix has been delivering banger after banger this year as far as new animated content goes, and this is no exception. Inside Job might start as your typical raunchy comedy, but it's very down to earth when it applies real themes, such as depression and childhood trauma, as a means to explore a relatable lead. I adore Reagan and her oddball team, especially the sarcastic, neon-colored, sexed-up mushroom Mike, and co-leader Brett, who also shares the same issues as Reagan. I mean, if you cast Brett Gelman in something, he's gonna be a standout. And apart from him, I also adored co-leader Brett, who shares the same issues as Reagan, being an adult who has a very lonely background of being unloved as a kid and has his own weight of childhood trauma that affects him in the present. I'm like, oh shit, that hits, man! It plays very much into the humor of modern conspiracy theories, utilizing jokes we get from the internet to garner laughs. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There are only 10 episodes, and it actually has a gradual story-driven build-up that gets stronger as it goes. The first half of the season lays out the groundwork to getting the audience familiar with the zany characters, and the animation is pretty damn good. When they go all out, they deliver impressive visual effects, lighting, and character design. Whereas I felt the latest season of Rick and Morty was very hit or miss, the hit ratio for this new sci-fi adult animated show is much higher. Not all the episodes are winners. There are even times where, from a creative standpoint, it does set up similar to other episodes of other adult animated cartoons. They call this season 1 part 1, so I do hope part 2 comes soon so I can have a fully fleshed out reception of this show. To continue the Netflix train, I know, there's so many. That weekend I went to a special screening of The Summit of the Gods, a French 2D animated movie directed by Patrick Imbert based on a Japanese manga about a photographer who investigates a mountain climber who is determined to reach the top of Mount Everest and beat George Mallory and Andrew Irving's record. Initially, the film did throw me off because it was Japanese characters speaking French, but once my stupid American brain settled its ass down, I was bewildered by this mature and serialized drama that explores the human condition of resilience. Even in animated form, the film depicts the chilling and anxiety-inducing nature of mountain climbing, which is freaking terrifying. Seeing this in the theater is the best course of action because the animation is breathtaking, especially in the background art and design. It beautifully takes the architecture of Japan and the mountain ranges of Everest and brings them to life in a stylistic manner. And then the sound design from ice crackling to the distant winds is as terrifying as you'd expect in a typical live action film. It's a very contemplative study of the basis of man and purpose as it explores that theme with consistency and integrity. Netflix, man, they are truly slaying the animation game, and this ranks very high up as one of the best animated films of the year. Then I went to a press screening of Eternals. Still confused as to how this is the lowest rated MCU movie when it's the most narratively ambitious and emotionally profound one to date. Maybe it suffered from having way too many characters who are not as developed to the height of their powers as they should be. But then again, we didn't give a shit about half of the Avengers until some of them got a friggin' Disney Plus show. Up until Endgame, the only true MCU character who got a fleshed out character arc that spanned throughout many movies was fucking Loki. So, whatever. I'll be mad. I'll stay mad. Finally, I rounded out my month by watching another superhero movie, My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission. Compared to the rest of my family and friends, I am not a huge anime person, but I am a major My Hero Academia fan, so when a new movie drops, I plus ultra my ass to the theater. But because I'm a film critic, I got to watch a screener along with my roomies, who are also MHA nerds. I've seen each film to date, and this is their second best one. It's frustrating how we went from Heroes Rising, which focused on Class 1A as a whole, to this where it's entirely a Deku movie and everyone else is given scraps if you ain't Deku, Bakugo, or Todoroki. Like, Ida had no damn speaking lines and somehow Mineta had more. Fucking Mineta! Apart from that, this is an alright movie as a whole. It does some pretty damn good character growth for Deku, but he's overshadowed by a new movie character, Rhodey, who we'll never probably see ever again in the show. But he and Deku are a great contrast to each other, and their budding friendship is really well developed. The action sequences are as phenomenal as the ones in the series itself, but at the end of the day, it's just another My Hero Academia movie. Damn, that hurts to say. The story is a bit too disjointed and feels like an amalgamation of The Fugitive, Brokeback Mountain, yeah, I said it, and then My Hero Academia all over again. Which is fine, considering the first movie was just Die Hard with a My Hero Academia coat of paint. It was a fun ride that satisfies its fans, and you know what? I was pretty satisfied. And yeah, that's all of what I watched in October. If you've seen these movies or haven't seen these movies, well, let me know what you think. Do you agree or disagree with my takes? Leave a comment in the comment section below. And hey, while you're here, be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel, or head on over to RendyReviews.com. And hey, subscribe to our Patreon, where you can get early access to written reviews, video reviews, and a bunch of other exclusive content that you don't want to miss. Thanks for watching. I'm Rendy Jones, and I'll see y'all next time.